Welcome everyone to the IndusInd Bank presents The Finish Line, powered by News Wearables. I'm your host Saurav Ghosal, and on the final episode of the season, we are joined by one of India's most dynamic cricketers. He was a member of the team that won the T20 World Cup in 2007 and is currently the captain of the Kolkata Knight Riders. It is my privilege to welcome on today's show Dinesh Karthik.
March 2018. Sri Lanka is hosting the Nidahasa Trophy. Three top T20 sides, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and India. On the 16th of March, Bangladesh edged past hosts Sri Lanka to enter the finals against India. The evening of March 18th, Indian captain Rohit Sharma won the toss and chose to field in front of a packed crowd at the Premadasa Stadium. Sabbir Rahman's 77 and a late flourish from Mehdi Hassan got Bangladesh to 166. And when Rohit Sharma was the fourth wicket to be dismissed with just 98 on the board, things looked difficult. Vijay Shankar and Manish Pandey struggled to score. And when Manish holed out at long on of Mustafizur Rahman, it looked all over for India. 34 to get, just 12 balls to get them from. And then one man walked in, and his name, Dinesh Karthik.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dinesh.
Thank you. It's as usual. It's a massive pleasure to be speaking to my own brother-in-law across virtual sites. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So, Dinesh, I'm going to start this interview off with a bit of background about your journey in Indian cricket. It's been a brilliant journey, but it's safe to say that you're part of almost a golden generation of wicketkeeper batsmen in Indian cricket, with obviously the legend Mahendra Singh Dhoni leading the charge. So in any other era, you would kind of walk into the Indian team as a wicketkeeper batsman, but you had it hard in a lot of ways because you had to kind of prove your point every single time you step onto that field for India. So what is that pressure like every time you go out to wicket keep or bat to kind of show what you're actually made of?
I think throughout my career, if there's one thing that's for sure, it was the fact that there was a lot of pressure whenever I played games. Just the fact that if I had to be part of the side, I had to be something. It has to be something special. I just couldn't do ordinary stuff and expect to be part of the side because there was an enigma called MS Dhoni around, and obviously he was the Indian captain at most of the times, and before that he was somebody who just burst onto the scene and did fabulous things. That all of India completely connected with him, and he had a fabulous career. And to be fair, I think he's gone on to become one of the greatest captains India has ever produced. So when you have a player like that, you're competing against a lot of the times. I think what you need to do is realize that you need to seize those moments, which could be extra special. At times I did, and at times I didn't. I think that's what life is all about. You're always not going to, be having a bed full of roses. So at times there were moments when I had to, run the tough race. At times, definitely, the way I worked, I think, helped me cross a lot of hurdles, which made sure I was part of the team. And, I was enjoying a journey in my own way. And I carved a small niche for myself through the times that I played for the country.
For sure, Dinesh. And, with the Nidahas Trophy and Dhoni electing not to play this event, it was one of those moments for you to kind of seize your opportunity, especially, with the World Cup coming up in the following years. And, going into that tournament, what were your expectations of yourself in terms of like the team combination and things like that, and what do you expect that you were going to achieve out of this outing?
I think at the start of the tournament, Dhoni, Virat Kohli, the Bumrahs, these guys who have been playing cricket consistently over a long period of time had taken a break. So it gave an opportunity for a lot of the young guys who are generally part of the India A circuit to come in and obviously make a mark. And I was in fact one of the most senior players going around in that tournament. Luckily, I had a captain, Rohit Sharma, who I have a fabulous relationship with on the field and off the field. So he's always, he's been the kind of go-to guy for me a lot of times. He's always backed me. When the IPL that I won, he was my captain as well. So I have a really strong relationship with him, and one of a lot of mutual trust and respect. So in this tournament, he made it very clear that I'll be batting at the bottom of the order. He completely believed in my skills in finishing off games. And I could see as the tournament kept going forward, the confidence that he had in me, I repaid by making sure that I closed out games through the tournament. In fact, interestingly, I didn't get out even once. So every time I went out, I closed out games, and either I was not out a couple of times. I just played a couple of balls.
It's a very, very memorable series in the minds of many Indians today. Like you said, you had a fantastic tournament up to the final. You were probably slated to come in at number 5 in that final, but it just so happened that you kept getting pushed down the order, and eventually you're coming in at number 7. So sitting in the pavilion, what's going through your mind, thinking, I've done the job over all these games, but I'm not getting my chance to go out and finish it for the last big game. Like, what are the feelings that you're going through at that point in time?
Oh, it was a mixture of feelings because, I was obviously, when I padded up, I was ready to go in at number 5. And then Rohit says, no, I think you could be going at number 6 today. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. It could be anything. It could be left, right. It could be anything. I'm not sure what he was thinking. So I just left it at that. So I was pretty sure I was going at number 6, and I could see the game was getting tighter, and the number of the balls to runs required was kind of becoming bigger. So I was getting ready, and the wicket fell at number 6. So I kind of got up to go, and then Rohit is like, no, let Vijay Shankar go. And that moment, it's more like it starts with disappointment, leads up to anger, and then it's like, oh, what the hell is happening? You're not sure what's happening. But you obviously don't question the captain. But obviously the anger and the disappointment is there because here was an opportunity in my eyes that, I could do something. I had a few overs to go, and it was a far more comfortable situation at that stage for me to have gone in. But he had something in mind, obviously. So I just let it be. And I guess after the next wicket had fallen, I think I was obvious choice. Otherwise, the next in line was Washington Sundar. So obviously, I had to go at number 7. And, it panned out well for me. And he had a good point. He felt that, the way Mustafizur was bowling, it was better that I think Vijay Shankar, with his kind of batting, had a better opportunity to score runs against him. So that was his matchup. And, fair enough. I don't question these kind of things. But at that point of time, when I was padded up and ready to go in, I was disappointed.
You go in with 34 runs needed of the last 12 balls. That's a tall order by the stretch of anyone's imagination. I know you're a very, very positive person, but, going in then, what are your expectations of yourself? 34 of 12 is a very, very tall order, like I said.
I think a lot of times in life, when you're pushed to the brink, you come out with something special. I think that it was one of those occasions where I had nothing to lose. It was a game where 12 balls, 34 was never, not many times was it done before, let's put it that way. At least in the international circuit where the top players play. So here was an opportunity for me where I had the freedom to completely go and express myself. But what I did do was practice before that. I had always, practiced 1 over 12 runs, 2 overs, 20 runs, these kind of things. But I don't think I practiced 2 overs, 34 runs that easily. 2 overs, 34 would require a special effort. Even today, most people, if you had to tell them 2 overs, 34, they'd probably look at it and think, wow, that's a little hard. So when I went in, obviously, the one thing that I did have was freedom to play my shots because that was the need of the hour. And I went in there, I planned what I could do it. I reacted as well, but what I planned was my preparation through the time. I think I was prepared to know what are the shots I could kind of play, and that is something that I executed on that day.
Dinesh, 16 runs of the first 3 balls of your innings, changes the momentum of the game completely. The pendulum is almost moving towards India now, and you've kind of brought it down to a manageable thing of 12 of the last over, which is very, very possible in today's, game of T20 cricket. The last over, however, doesn't quite go according to plan. Vijay Shankar unfortunately gets out on the penultimate ball with 5 required of the last ball. The silver lining is that he skies it and you kind of cross over to get to the striker's end. So, what is your thinking? Is your heart jumping out of your mind at that point in time, out of your chest, because you need a 4 or a 6 to kind of do anything with this game right now?
There was nervousness. When I had to think this is what I need to do, there was a lot of emotions going on inside me. But I think what did help me was the fact that I was prepared. So I knew one thing, all I needed to do was do what I have done up till now, which is get a good position, make sure I get a good base and then react to the ball. But there was one belief that I believed that I wasn't going to hit a 4. I was going to go for a 6. I was going to go for all or nothing. So no, I was going for a 6 no matter what at that stage. I didn't want a draw. Basically, I didn't want a tie. I wanted to make sure we crossed the line. So I think the preparation in terms of getting deep in the crease, setting myself up for a ball that could probably be a Yorker again, because that is the go-to ball for a last ball. Most people would do that. So I had set myself up for that ball. And as you just saw, it was probably one of the toughest shots of the whole inning, because I played it over covers. Normally it goes over mid-on or long big mid-wicket. But that guy bowled a clever ball. He bowled well outside the off-stump. But I think what did help me was the fact that I had practiced before that to get into a good position and to make sure I went through with the ball. So technically I got most of my alignments right. But most importantly, I think in those kind of stages, it's not so much the technicalities that matter. I think it is your ability to stay calm and make sure that you're in the moment and don't get ahead of yourself. A lot of times when you're thinking, and that ball interestingly took a lot of time because the captain and the vice captain and him were discussing what to bowl. So those are the, in sports language it's called down moments. So, you're thinking, I was thinking what will be my celebration if I win it? Or, what is going to happen if I don't win it? And then I decided, no, these are not the thoughts that I should be entertaining right now. What I'm going to do is try and concentrate. So I just tried to watch some point in the ground and just kept focused for a 2, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, as much as I could. And then again, kind of gave myself a breather, relaxed, and I decided, okay, for this moment, all I need to do is get a good base, make sure I get into the perfect position. And if it is anywhere close to what I want it to be, I'm going to go through with the ball. And it's not going to be a 4, I'm going to try and hit a 6. So these are the words I told myself, and I took stance, and then I guess the rest is history.
Dinesh, after you hit the ball into the stands, Washington Sundar is, on the opposite side, but pretty much the rest of the entire Indian team comes rushing out onto the pitch and they're kind of like jumping all over you. I know the feeling of how that feels because the same thing happened when I won the gold medal for India and the team were in the Asian Games. And I remember I couldn't breathe and I was telling everyone like, get off, get off. It's like, what did you feel like when everyone was on top of you? Like what's going through your mind at that time?
A lot of happiness, and for everybody that match means different things at different points of field. For Vijay Shankar, it was one of again a similar relief, but a different kind of relief because he kind of felt that he goofed up in that game, and luckily we just crossed the line. Otherwise, he would always be remembered as the guy who couldn't, who kind of made it tougher for the whole team as well, and probably let the team down. For him, it was that kind of relief. For Washington Sundar, it was just the fact that all that he had bowled, and in the lead up, it was a man of the series. He became the man of the series, and that was fruitful being part of the winning team rather than the one that lost in the final. So for a lot of for Rohit Sharma, it was his first big tournament as a captain for the Indian cricket team, and I think that was a special moment for him in many ways. The kind of strategy that he used at various points of the tournament. So I think that was one for him. But for me, it was, as I said, I've been a lot of times on Shakib's side. So, I was somewhere thinking that, wow, this is how it must feel to win as well. Because I remember there are so many games that you play and you tend to lose and you see the opponents coming, being all over each other. And you just not cross the line at the last moment. So I kind of, felt a little bit for him as well, a little bit. But deep down, I knew that, it was something that was special and I should enjoy this moment. And everybody, interestingly, there was so many things happening behind the scenes, not just with us, but between Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, the other two teams, that it kind of made the moment a lot bigger and the match a lot more talked about. So overall, I think it was very satisfying and thrilling, satisfying. These are the kind of words that I want to use. Unbelievable for me in many ways. So it was just, sometimes it is surreal actually to think about it.
For sure, Dinesh, I can't tell you how proud I was at that very instant, when that ball went into the stands of you. I'm sure every Indian watching that day was super, super happy with what you had done. It is something that everyone associated with cricket will always remember. That innings will always be part of a rich legacy that you will leave behind. So thank you very much for kind of detailing, the process of what happened that day and even, the precursor to that day to make that day possible. So thank you for that. And also thank you for actually making it happen in the first place. Thank you so much, Dinesh.
No, thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much, Saurav, and to everybody out there, thank you so much. As I keep saying, it was a very special match, and it will remain a very special match in my life for sure. And it's something that I'm really proud to have been a part of. We had a lot of youngsters. It was the last game of the season. So many small things that, and those are the kind of things I remember. And more importantly, off the field, we had a lot of fun. Interestingly, after many, many years, we had 2 Tamilians on the side as well. So we had a lot of fun together, me, Vijay Shankar and Washington. So it was probably one of the better tournaments I've played on and off the field in my life.
I thought that was a very stimulating chat with Dinesh Karthik. What stood out for me was the preparation that had gone into making that amazing winning six possible. And that's what makes it the IndusInd Bank most bankable moment. And while on cricket, IndusInd Bank supports the Indian Blind Cricket Team, also known as the Other Men in Blue, in collaboration with the Cricket Association of the Blind. And they've been getting some really impressive results for India. I hope you've enjoyed today's conversation with Dinesh and all the other conversations we've had with some top athletes through this entire season. I certainly enjoyed learning how different champions think and how they sculpted the most defining moments in Indian sporting history. It has been an inspirational few weeks for me, and I hope it's been the same for you. This is your host, Saurav Ghosal, signing off for the last time this season on the IndusInd Bank Presents The Finish Line, powered by Muse Wearables. Sometimes, a single moment defines success. A fraction of a second makes a legacy, and that legacy inspires an entire nation. Muse Wearables believes in holding on to such moments and honoring the individual's journey. So it's now time to get excited for the Muse Wearables contest question.
Here is the Muse Wearables contest question for today. How many runs were required off the last ball for India to win the Nidha Hasa Trophy in 2018, which Dinesh Karthik hit for a six and won India the match? Was it A 4, B 6, C 3 or D 5? Answer the question and stand a chance to win an exclusive timeless collection of a new age hybrid smartwatches from Muse. Simply follow these steps to enter the contest. Conditions apply.